The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackast. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
And Viva La Bam. We are just three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, broken bones, and Bam Margeras.
We're doing something a little different again today, guys. We got the first episode of Viva La Bam. We want to switch things up, shake things up. We know there's a lot of Bam fans out there, which is a lot harder to say apparently than you think. And we want to, allow them to see something or listen to. Oh my God, this is bad. Anyways,
I would like to allow them to see something,
even though they're listening. But whatever. This episode came out October 26th of the year 2003.
Ooh.
And remember we were talking about like the biggest wildfire a little bit ago?
Sorry.
Yes.
Well, today was the second biggest wildfire up to that point. That's the best fact I could find. Although it was pretty interesting because there's supposed to be a Monday night football game the next day between the Chargers and Dolphins, and they had to move it all the way to Arizona because they couldn't play the game over there because of the wildfires. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty cool. It's funny
that
because
would be cool to see a game. I'm not making fun of wildfires, but just a football game where just everything's on fire. It'd be like Mutant Football League. Remember that one?
I fucking love that
Holes
game.
in the ground and shit.
By the way, Jay
spike pits.
Canceled for making fun of wildfires. We can't do that anymore, my dude.
Yeah, I know. I can't make fun of anything. We're too fucking cautious.
You know what's funny?
Speak for yourself,
funny
guys.
is
I've been fucking going ham.
How's that been going?
No problem so far. I'm surprised. I haven't really got any hate mail yet.
You know what's funny, Chris, is you mentioned the date of this one in 2003, I think you said, and I was watching a version of this, and at the end of it, there was the MTV credits were in it, and it said in the credits, it was like, stay tuned after the show for your sneak peek of the brand new album from The Strokes being released next week. And it's like, holy shit, I am old as fuck. Like, that is classic rock to me at this point.
You know what's crazy to me? If you think about it, like this year, 2003, like in Canada, anybody born in that year is legal to drink. 2003. If you go to like 2000 or 2001, it's like you're legal anywhere in the world. You're officially an adult. Yeah. How are 2000 babies and adults now? That makes me feel old as fizzuck.
And they didn't even have to live through Y2K. They don't know our struggles.
Yeah, that was a rough time, boys.
Everyone had to upgrade their computers. IBM made a fucking killing.
God forbid if that clock fucking changed numbers. Do you think if they didn't do anything, literally everything would have went ham? Or do you think they actually did fix something?
No, I used to think that it was all a scam. But I do understand their concern because coding is such a finicky thing. So you never know. The clocks change, and does everything that we've coded from that point onwards that has to do with the date? Are planes going to fall from the sky? No, but I think there would have been some glitches. I can see that being reasonable, but I also think the smartest people in the world probably knew it wasn't going to be a problem.
Why'd you just chuckle like that?
101011, boys.
The weirdest little chuckle as you finished that. And you like looked down like you were embarrassed. I hope people are watching.
Just trying to get
because that cracked me.
Somebody fucking get me a shovel. Can we get the fuck out of here? Come on, like get me out of this hole.
All right, let's get out of this hole.
I don't want to talk about the Y2K anymore.
Fine.
I don't want to relive those memories. You're giving me PTSD. You fucking come on here.
We could be in a Y2K hole.
Oh, do you know how traumatizing and scarring Y2K was? I don't want to talk. I don't want to relive that, guys. Yeah. You're all smiles over here. That was some scary fucking shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, scary.
Sorry. Now that we're talking about this, you know where me and Mikey were? What we did on the Millennium, exactly when it turned to what Y2K was. We were in Mexico and we're on a beach and we decided to all go skinny dipping because it was like pitch black on the beach and we're like, fuck it, the world might end. We're going skinny dipping in the ocean.
YOLO.
With our whole family, as weird as that sounds. But as we're in the water coming out, we thought we were the only ones on the beach. And when the fireworks lit up the sky, we saw there was like hundreds of people along the beach just watching us. And we're like, fuck, we got to get out of this water somehow right now. And everyone's looking at us.
Nah, dude, the thing to do at that point is just to join hands and just show it proud to the whole beach. Power pose as a family. And,
Yeah.
If you remembered it'd be burned in the memories of hundreds of beachgoers.
Yeah, the tragedy of Y2K was different for them.
Speaking of Y2K, boys, I have pallets of baked beans to offload. So if you ever need some baked beans, just hit me up.
Always can use a couple.
Let's just say I was a little over-prepared for that one. And I think a little under-prepared for Viva La Bam Season 1, Episode 1. Why do I say that? I guess I forgot what this show was like.
Yeah.
Before we get into our thoughts, because it's gonna hit hard right out of the gate, let's just talk about this intro. So butt rock Elvis Presley here, that theme song. I forgot about this, and the minute I heard it, I realized, holy shit, this was a show that my brother had on DVD at all the seasons. So this was the early introduction to binge watching. I think this was one of the first shows I did that with over a summer, and it was just episode after episode. This fucking song every 25 minutes on repeat. I'm gonna give you what you want. And it's just like, I've had enough of this, and hearing it once again was enough, and I'm not looking forward to fucking having to do this
every single time.
Weeks.
It's intense.
What did you guys think of this?
Well, the opposite of Wildboyz, right? Like Wildboyz, the theme song kicked in, and I literally got goosebumps. In this one, as soon as is it Deco doing the introduction voice, by the way? Like, I think no, it's not.
You mean to the song?
No, not to the song, but there's like, it's Bam Margera. What will he do? And he's like kind of introducing the scheme. It sounds kind of like him. But it was amazing. Like, it kicked in, and immediately I remembered how fucking lame it was, even back in the day when he's like, what will he do next? And Bam's like, whatever the fuck I want, and jumps off a building with like really bad graphics.
He's dead. He's dead now. The show's over.
It's pretty stupid. I
must be a lot more simple than you guys, because I was like, I fucking totally enjoyed this whole thing. I was like,
oh, you got into it? That's good.
The music was good, and like I appreciated like the cheesy, but the way that you just described that now, I was kind of like, fuck. Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Jay, you kind of mentioned this, that the whole premise of the show you were a little bit almost like taken aback by, confused by. I'm assuming you weren't just talking about the intro, because it took. Chris, did you just yawn into the microphone? What is wrong with
you? You guys, we switched up recordings, man. It's way too early for me. It's like noon. Come on.
You're giving the Jackass guys more reason to come in and take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nobody.
Look, they yawn on their podcast.
Rake yawn.
Don't listen to them.
Yeah, Rake yawn will go. We got regular yawns. They got Rake yawn.
I take back what I said. The points just went way up.
Hey, there we go. We got it. We got it.
Mikey.
No,
puns. We got puns.
I expected much more. Like, here's the thing about Jackass is from the very beginning, it's so structured. It's, here is our stunt. This is what we're going to do. Great. Interstitial. Move to the next one. This one was like ADHD. It's like Bam said to MTV, get me a fucking camera and let's go. I don't know what we're doing, but I'm going to figure something out.
Dude,
yeah.
You just said the three magic letters, too. MTV.
Yes.
That's the thing. I'm like, holy shit, this is MTV as fuck, this show. Mm-hmm. Just picture any MTV reality show, and it's this. And I guess I forgot about that. And I said before we went on mic, I don't know if that changes throughout the seasons, but as it is now, yeah, it just feels like any fucking reality show. I don't know what was popular on there. I didn't really watch a lot of that shit.
Jay,
was The Real World one of those shows? The Real World?
Yeah. It was very in your face. And Jay, here's the thing. I know you're an Eric Andre fan, right? I remember I was watching this episode and just thinking, like, why is this so familiar? Because like Bam would go up to the camera and be like, we're going to see what happened next. And then it's like, and then like a title screen, like, feels mad. And I was like, why is this so familiar? Why do I feel like I know this? And it's because that style of filming is now a joke. It's now a caricature of itself, and that's what Eric Andre does to make fun of all the things we used to watch in the early 2000s. Yeah. It's like, but
it's crazy how that was
before
just
it was ironic.
The way it was exactly before it was ironic.
Yeah.
It's like different times,
so
man.
Weird.
I miss those fucking times.
Did you now, Chris? You mentioned that that you were kind of like along for the ride in the intro. Was that distracting for you, or were you just kind of like?
I literally have ADHD, so it's fucking it's right up my fucking alley. Like
perfect.
I'm like, this is perfect for me. Yes. Fucking this and this and there. Who the hell knows what's going on? I loved it.
Yeah.
You're like that guy in the YouTube video I saw come up in my feed the other day. It was like an ADHD test. It was two dudes sitting on a computer chair watching. One guy was watching Star Wars. He just had his hands folded in his lap, paying attention. And the other dude was watching a math video, and he's like twirling around in his office chair and shit.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing you doing that.
I get except it's not going to be a math video. It's going to be some nature documentary that he's watching.
Yeah. Yeah, or fisting videos.
Yeah. Oh, he's a big fan of that.
Chris, you
zoning out there?
I think I just heard someone knock at my door, and I don't like have any friends, so I'm kind of like, what the hell?
He's playing into the bit. I like this guy.
Can we isolate that audio of Chris saying, I don't have any friends? Because that was a good one.
No, like, not in this building. Like, not where I live now.
So okay.
Like, what the hell's going on? So, like...
Hey, but let's talk briefly.
Sorry,
let's
out
give
of
the
today,
premise
guys.
here. It's all good. It's all good. We just like having you here,
you.
Chris.
Yeah.
That's all. We just appreciate your presence. And today, this episode 1 is, of course, I think they, all things considered, it's a little janky watching this kind of shit, this presentation style. But I think they were smart to pick, hey, let's just fuck with Phil for episode 1. Because that's what people want to see. And that's what the premise is here, is that see how mad we can make Phil. This is Phil's hell day. And it's 5 a.m. as we start this episode, and Bam's doing his talking to the camera that, what Mikey, you had kind of talked about, very close to the camera, a little too close.
Yeah.
Talking out the side of his mouth as he does. So we're fucking with Phil. You get to see it's his, morning routine. I guess they're having breakfast or something. And it's just them shoving food in his mouth and throwing shit at him, and they're just setting the stage that Phil is kind of a pushover. Mm-hmm. That's the dynamic here. The objective today: piss Phil off. Let's do it. It starts off loud. Bam comes into the house. 5 a.m. He's got a chainsaw. It's already running. He's walking down the hallways. Phil and Ape are waking up, wondering what the hell that is. And he just starts cutting the floorboards out of the spare bedroom because they need a fire pole, Mom. That's what he says.
Yep.
So
it's pretty cool.
Reasonable.
Idea, though, eh?
It is. It's a cool idea, but then in practice, which we see later in the episode, it's not that cool. Like it's such a small. It's like an 8-foot drop. Like you can jump down it.
Yeah, but it's better than the stairs.
That's true. That is fair. It is better than the stairs.
Right? And it was able to withstand Phil.
That's a good point. What I love here, though, is that they come out of the bedroom to see Bam cutting this hole in the floor. Emotional status comes up on screen. Currently, tired, not mad. So Phil's not quite there yet.
Yeah.
In fact, he doesn't seem bothered at all by this. Ape's all fucking hoarse, can't even get mad good. Her voice just is not there.
Yeah.
They don't seem that pissed off. And if you compare this against the other things in the episode, this is probably one of the worst things they did.
Yeah, for real.
Cut a fucking hole in the ground. And they're pretty cool with it, all things considered.
And they just go. And then we don't actually get to see the end effects until later in the episode. And this is a good time to bring up that this episode is kind of, you can almost separate it into 2 parts, because there's the whole idea of like, we're going to make Phil mad. And then and you see all these cuts of like different things that they do to piss him off. But then the episode changes to just, as we mentioned, installing a skate park in the house. So the first half, I think we can kind of talk about generally, what were kind of our favorite things that they do, and we'll touch on all of them, and then we'll spend maybe a little bit more detailed time on the ramp installation. Did you guys have any favorite moments from the first bit, Chris? You seem pretty eager. What about you?
Yeah,
sewing hamburgers on all the different clothing lines.
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
good.
It's so
Hamburgers.
simple. It meant it literally did nothing, but it was absolutely hilarious. Like there's
So
no way to avoid it.
Bam's girlfriend, I think, or someone in Bam's life,
they're gonna get married eventually. Right?
Oh, is that? I didn't actually know
about that.
Oh, okay.
Too, isn't there?
Okay. She seems like a great person, by the way. Just a she takes Ape's feelings into account. Only so far, because they know who's the breadwinner of the entire Margera household. And so you let him do what he wants to do. But the whole idea of taking every stitch of clothing that Phil owns and heat pressing a hamburger to it. My favorite thing about this one is that for the rest of the episode, they don't draw attention to it, but every piece of clothing he has, you notice somewhere, has a hamburger on it.
Yeah.
And he just
it's a good
doesn't
little
care.
through joke, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't care. But what I noticed here is you said they put it on every piece of clothing he has.
Yeah.
All Phil fucking has is white t-shirts.
That's true.
Is he fucking Homer Simpson? Why does he only have white t-shirts?
Did he write a song called Hey There Delilah? What's with all the plain white tees?
Yeah, right? Come on. There's a little battle in the closet to get the iron out before this happens. They lock Ape in there. They're kind of just showing off that Bam's a nuisance.
Yes.
And if you don't know that now, you're going to know it pretty fucking quickly. And his parents let him get away with a lot of shit. Speaking of which, the next thing they do is the toothpaste trick, the old toothpaste trick. Phil's going to brush his teeth. They put ground beef in the toothpaste tube, uncooked. We get that classic night vision bathroom voyeur cam again. And then here's the thing, guys. When he picks up the toothpaste, he puts it on his toothbrush, smells it, and brushes anyway.
Anyway, that's so gross.
Why did you put it in your mouth? I don't understand.
And then he yells at Ape. He's like, but while he's brushing his teeth, he's like, Ape, like, what's she gonna do? That's such a cliched husband thing to do. Just like,
especially our dad.
Yeah, especially our dad. Just something's not working, and you just keep doing it and yell at your wife for it going wrong for some reason. This is like the funniest thing about this is like, especially when you live with other people and you hear this about young parents as well. They're like, the only safe haven you have is in the bathroom because that's the only time you get any peace. Not for Phil. Every time he goes in, he's probably thinking there could be a camera in here and I could be fucked with. It happens to him all the time. And shame on Bam. Of all the things, listen, cut my floorboards, but don't cut out the last bastion of peace I have in my house by ruining the bathroom for me. That's rude.
Yeah. But hey, ground beef toothpaste aside, he's still just a little mad. That's it. The emotional status, we quite haven't gotten there yet. This next part, boys, we do need to talk about for at least a minute. This is Don Vito, his first appearance in the show, and Phil Margera going out on the prowl. Now, apparently all it takes to get Don Vito to go on the prowl with you is to tell him you're going to get some fresh meat. Burgers, boys. I'm talking
burgers.
about burgers.
Okay.
They're going for burgers.
Yeah,
and here's the drive-through order in progress. 2 griddles, 2 orange juices, 1 sausage, 1 egg McMuffin, 1 bacon, a number 1 with coffee, 3 or 2 extra hash browns. I don't think they really established that. These are some hungry guys.
Oh, man.
Now, they're in a white van. All right? They're in a white van. I mean, look, I know a van is a good vehicle for getting around. You know, it's convenient. You can fit a lot of shit in there. If you're a bit on maybe the larger side, it's good. It's comfortable. But why this van? I mean, why?
Not for Don Vito. That's a retrospective.
I don't know where the pedo meter is at this point in Vito's life.
Yeah.
But this is like putting a beer bong in front of the religious kid at a college party who's just escaped the throes of his parents' authoritarianism for the first time. Don't enable him. You're not helping. Don't give this man a white van. He doesn't need it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they call it a Rumspringa when like a Mormon person goes on that break from their from whatever their family. They get to try it, or not Mormon, maybe Mormon. Yeah, you get to try like one time of going out there and trying to drink and do whatever you want. And that's that religious kid at the party, and they just go way too far with it.
I'm just saying he doesn't need a white van. That's all.
That I agree with. That is a bad look. A bad look for Don Vito for sure. But this was funny too, because like that poor soul that had to take the order in the first place, right? Like someone had to understand what the fuck Phil was trying to tell them with all the food there. Like that's so much food, and he barely gave any indication of what he actually wanted. And then obviously Bam sitting out there with his friends, and they've got hydraulics in the van. This is one thing though that I found hard to get over in the initial bits of this show is, so often they do a sketch and Bam and Phil are just so used to getting fucked with that they're just kind of like, oh, okay, here it goes. Like this is the thing again. And they just kind of like lean into it. And I know that's part of the shtick is that Phil's kind of easygoing. But once they get the hydraulics going, that's just kind of it. He's like, oh, all right, moving on. And I thought that was kind of the case in the entire first half of this episode, and I was kind of unimpressed. But then, so we go from this into the fire pole bit, and we get to see what that looks like, and that was actually a little bit of fun.
Yeah, Phil likes it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Phil's hell day, so, I mean, mission accomplished? Not so much. I don't like it. I don't like that the premise is set out, and it's taking this long to get him mad. Phil just, I don't know, maybe he's just an incredibly patient man. And
he clearly is.
You know, that's just what we're seeing here. But you're right. The next operation is where they try to step it up a notch. They steal Phil's van and crash it into a car at the junkyard. We get a bulldozer to come and just destroy this fucking thing. At this point, I'm just thinking, I can't believe this is actually his real van. But I will say, if anyone is diligent enough, maybe they want to go back to like the fireworks wake up and take a look for us.
Yeah.
Maybe it is the same one. I don't remember. But I feel like at some level he's in on it. Like maybe they decided, oh, we got to get rid of this thing. It's falling apart. Bam's like, oh, let's, use it on TV. It really feels like that because when they come back, they're not really that upset. Like we get emotional status, finally bummed, but he's not like freaking out at Bam, as you think a dad would be if your kid went and demolished your car without your permission, Well,
see, this is kind of the unspoken thing about their relationship is Bam is clearly paying for all of their shit now. Like he's made it. He's buying them a house. He's buying them this.
Every kid's dream.
It's absolutely every kid's dream. But that's the thing is like
the power over your parents.
The parents can't get that upset, right? Because they know what's happening. And this, I'm usually the cynic on this podcast that thinks they're playing into it and this and that. But there's something about like, if you're a dad and your kid starts buying everything for you, there's probably a little element of like, man, the roles are reversed and I want to be this. And it feels like, he bought us a house. Great. We're going to go get the house. We're going to get this. We're going to get that. But his van is like, that was it. I had this vision of like, that was his thing. Like, this is my van. It's classic. It's old. It's my thing. I've grown up with it. The seat is probably perfectly molded to his ass, that giant seat. And when he comes outside and he sees the van, there's a moment where he turns to Bam and he says, I love that van, Bam. Are you nuts? And he says it in a way that's like not meant for the camera. And it really like hurt me. It's like you took the one sentimental thing that he had left that his kid didn't buy for him and ripped it away from him. And I was like, oh, that's such a fucking bummer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Chris, if you came out of the room following this podcast and you found that your refrigerator had just been torn apart, the doors ripped off, food everywhere, it was lit on fire. What would you say?
Literally happening right now.
You just came in here to fix a water line. I love that refrigerator.
Right now.
I love that refrigerator. That water line was the best.
No, it didn't exist.
That's
before,
amazing.
But it will after. I will have ice, and it's going to be very nice.
I did like though that at the end of it, Bam bought his dad a new car. And there was this moment that was really tender and sweet between them. And you can tell because Bam completely broke character. Phil like goes and gives him a little kiss on the head. And Bam's like, yeah, no, Dad, it's for you. And he like shrinks down as though like only as a little kid can do when he's like feeling emotion and doesn't know how to deal with it. And that was really sweet. I actually really liked this part of the episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris, you're nodding in approval. What do you feel on the father son dynamic here? Any thoughts?
It's a weird one because I couldn't imagine being in that situation where you basically your son turns you into his bitch and you have to live with him but you're also for the benefit of his career. Like he needs this. So in essence you're helping him, but it just having that reversal of roles is like
True.
It's just got to be so weird. And like they have to live with him. Like at least Phil seems like he has a blast in these situations. We'll see later on when they build the skate park in there. At one point for no reason, Phil just kicks a hole in the wall. He's just having fun. You know what I mean? So he like with Ape, I think it's a little bit weirder because like you could tell she's definitely the neurotic one of the two of them. So for her to like deal with this, you could tell it's got to be pretty tricky. But at the same time, they're spending good quality family time. What families get to spend that time at those ages together and just do all these crazy things. So
that's true.
I'm sure they'll look back and have a good time with it.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually, because it's almost like people would look at this and they're like, what a fucked up family. But in a sense, they're kind of all operating this business together, and it's the business of Bam's image. And together, they're making a fucking killing, Like, who cares if you lose your van if that episode itself pays for 3 more of them, And I think you're right though. There probably is something inside of Phil like, this isn't exactly how I saw my life going. This isn't exactly how I wanted to raise my kids, but it's an opportunity to spend some time with him, gain some notoriety, and see my son, become super famous. And if I can play a part in that, I'll do it.
Yeah, you put that in an interesting perspective that I haven't thought about. You're right. They're probably getting a shit ton of money from this. It is MTV after all. And how fucking MTV, as if we needed another reminder, when they do roll out the Cadillac Escalade as the replacement car, it just feels like fucking Pimp My Ride or some bullshit.
I know.
Mm-hmm. We got you the new Escalade. And then he's just like, showing off all the fucking features. And it just felt so fucking, ugh, man, I didn't need that. And then, of course, brand new Escalade. Vito fucking sits in it. Your vehicle's ruined now. He's
already ruined.
Tainted.
Already ruined.
Cursed. You can't drive.
He's like, can we tint out the back windows or what? What can we do about these back windows? Can we get
they say when you for Phil?
Yeah,
because like. It's like I know personally what it's like to have a brother like Don Vito. Like Mikey's clearly the Don Vito of this whole situation.
Comment of the episode.
And you have to bring him around, and he's always embarrassing you. And look at his mustache, for example. He's clearly doing questionable shit.
What are you doing? I'm just fucking sitting over here. You want to know what I'm doing? I'm just drinking water.
You got to work on your neck skin a little bit. You got to start stretching the neck skin.
That's why I quickly had to flip Mikey to the Don Vito. I'm already halfway there. Check that shit out.
It's an Aaronworth trait. We all got
Don't put yourself in that,
The best offense is a good offense.
They say when you buy a new car and drive it off the lot, the value goes down by 50% or something. Well, once Don Vito sits in your car, I think there's no coming back.
There's no going back.
It's tanked. Yeah. But this next part is clearly, I don't even think we need to argue this. This is the highlight of the whole episode. The smell of peaches. Come on, guys. This is what we're here for. First of all, Ryan Dunn sitting at the kitchen counter. He's such a fucking kid. He's having a plate of peaches. It's my afternoon snack. I've been outside playing in the sandbox all day. Yeah. Time to go in and have my peaches. And Bam comes and farts on the peaches. And that's the whole fucking part of the segment here. I don't know why it's in the episode, but fuck.
Listen, Jackass gets interstitials. This felt like one of those. And Bam, just with the timing, it's like Ryan's like, why would you fart on my peaches? And Bam's like, well, it wasn't like a real one. He's like, what do you mean it wasn't real? He's like, well, it wasn't like this, and unloads on it like a huge one. I was like, fuck, like fart humor, man. That's what we're here for. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to get into the meat of this. Keep it moving. This is where things start to really take shape, and the rest of the episode is centered around, as we've alluded to, the skate park. Phil and Ape have been invited, an all-expenses-paid trip to go to Atlantic City. I mean, they've got a limo coming to pick them up. You've got Rake Yan as the limo driver.
Yeah.
That's a sight. They're going to put skate ramps in the house when they're gone. I mean, sorry, Bam speaking to the camera in the living room with Ape in the next fucking room. We're going to put skate ramps in the house.
Yeah.
They're not going to know. It's going to be awesome.
They'll have no idea. I liked the moment before they went on the trip where Ape took Bam's girlfriend into the kitchen and was like, just make sure nothing happens. And she says, I'm trusting you. And the girlfriend goes rolls her eyes and gives the oh Jesus.
It all feels so put on though, because it's all right in front of the obligatory, right in front of the camera. I don't want people in this house. And then they do it again when they're leaving, because Ape says to Bam, make sure you take care of everything. Yes, I will take care of everything for sure.
That's
Hi,
the thing
MTV.
is there's no way I think everyone watching the show knows that Ape and Phil know something's going to happen.
Yeah, they know.
But they just don't know what it is. I did like this whole, the fact that they're going to Atlantic City with Rake and with, I think Deco was there and Rab himself was there. And you get this kind of they're partying and they're having a good time. And then it cuts back to 36 hours to go and they're getting all the installations and this and that. And it cuts back and forth. And it looked like just like a fun trip for Ape, Phil and the boys to just kind of be going there and fucking around. But Ape and Phil know, and we know they know that when they come back, something is going to be askew.
Yeah, they have to be in on it to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it would be too suspicious getting the limo and everything with no explanation. So,
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, here we go. Shit goes into full gear here. They're getting the skate ramps in. We've got Tim Glom, a skate park builder, to the rescue. There's $20,000 worth of ramps in the house, they say. They basically clean out as much of Ape's shit as they can that could get broken, and they're off to the races. We get cuts back and forth here to what's happening in the limo in Atlantic City. Rab himself is with them and takes a pee in a cup. I don't know if you boys have ever had to do that on the road, but there you go. No stops on the way to Atlantic City, apparently. Yep. And you've got
my car doing that.
What? Really?
I was driving up north to a town called Sudbury to go fight a ticket that I got. And
on your way to fight a ticket, you almost crashed your car pissing in a cup.
Yeah, Mike, you'll know about this. So I'm sitting there, and it was late at night, and I wanted to make sure I made last call because I wanted to I really wanted to have a drink or something like that, get a bite to eat when I got in. So I didn't want to stop anywhere, and I really had to go. So I was I found a Gatorade bottle, and I'm like, okay, it's got a big, bigger mouth. I'm like, this could work, and I'm kind of standing up trying to do it, and there's this part where I forgot that it turns into a bridge.
Oh.
So it's like a one-way thing, and there's a stoplight, like, by our cottage, Mikey.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm kind of like angling like this, doing whatever. You're going on a highway in the middle of the night. You never have to think about stopping, and all of a sudden it came to a stop still, and I slammed on the brakes, almost rear-ended the guy in front of me, pissed all over the place. Yeah, it was. It's a good way to start my court fighting situation.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you show up to the court, and the judge is like, "You mind explaining why you're covered in piss?" Like, well,
it's an intimidation tactic.
Exactly. It's like, because this is my fucking courtroom. That's why.
Yeah.
I like
on the stand.
I like the addition here of Tim Glom coming in to build the skate park, kind of like taking control of everything. He started put ramps in. He's bringing them all, and then it's almost like Extreme Home Makeover in a way, because everyone used to love that back in the day. But just to touch on that pissing in a cup thing, Rab pisses in a cup in the limo and then throws it out the window, but he's got pee all over himself, and he's like, I get that this is a show. And I get that he's got to play this up and everything, but imagine being so comfortable with someone else's parents that you were willing to do something like that. Like, I was cringing the whole time watching it. Like, oh, I don't think I could ever pull that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's pretty funny to think about, actually. You mentioned Extreme Home Makeover. Do you guys know there is a little known show? Most people don't know about this. But Ryan Dunn did this for MTV. I think it was 1 season long. It's just him doing home makeovers, like tearing down homes.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the strangest fucking thing I think that's ever come out of Jackass. Who would have thought that would even...
It was a weird show.
It was together.
It was basically like Exhibit with, I mean, you already mentioned, but it was like, it's like, what do you like in your room? Okay, so we made it the coolest fucking room you could ever do. And it was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Weird. But back to the house. We've got the ramp going into the living room here, a little gap over the fireplace, which is kind of a nice touch. And
that was definitely the best touch.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, man. And the parents are set to return here in about 29 hours, so just a little over a day. But they're about to get a rainstorm in Westchester.
Stressful, baby.
They got to put up some tarps for the ramp that they build out in the garden. Tony Hawk is on the way. We have Tony in his private jet. Fucking baller here. But hey, boys, someone plug in controller number 2, because Bucky Lasek is here too.
Baby.
Son of a bitch. We've got Jesse Fritsch and Kevin Stab. So a couple pro skaters on the way over to BAM's, and they're ready to fucking go. Everybody's very impressed with what they see when they arrive. Lots of compliments going around. And the skating begins. Meanwhile, in Atlantic City, they're getting pedicures.
Yeah.
So...
It's funny. Like you think about it, it's like, holy shit, what is the budget for this show that they're able to build a whole goddamn skate park? But it's MTV, and I guarantee you all of it was cross promotion. It's like, look, we're doing this, so let's sell a photo shoot to a magazine company, have the skaters come in, they'll pay for the skaters to come, they'll pay us for the ramps, and we get an episode and this and that. It's probably just money changing hands, and then MTV just reaping everything at the end of it. But it's funny, like, as an adult watching this, all I'm thinking when they're installing the ramps and stuff, I'm like, the resale value of this house is now immediately down. Like, you just cannot get that back. And I'm like, fuck, for one episode of TV, you're taking like hundreds of thousands of dollars off of the value of your house. Like, man, better be worth it.
Houses aren't that expensive in Westchester or wherever.
Yeah, maybe.
We're used to Toronto prices. Is a big difference.
Fair.
Like, honestly, you could probably buy a mansion for like $100,000 out there.
$100,000?
Yeah.
No.
Man, my buddy bought a house in a university town in like Maine or somewhere like that. He was actually like a pool guy, and then a dog bit him in the ass, and he sued the family for $30,000. Bought a full house that was able to house like 8 different students, and he's been renting it out ever since. For
Holy shit!
Yeah, like it's literally $30,000 for like a house that could like an 8-bedroom house out there. You don't understand how cheap a lot of these places in the States are, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy to think. I mean, they have a nice property out there, too, I bet. I'd like to live in a place like that.
Was this the original house?
No. This was the original, but there's a new house that comes in later seasons.
Yeah.
Totally. No, but I mean, was this always Ape and Phil's house? Or was this something that they got? Because it didn't look like the original, but parts of it looked familiar, like the staircase right near the entrance of the house, which is weird that I know what that looks like, but still. I in general loved the whole idea of this. It's so creative. You have the skate ramp outside leading inside. You get some of those really, like you guys mentioned in the fireplace room, those ramps that go all around. It was just really cool. Like this was no pulling any punches, just really cool to see take place. And especially now that they got the pro skaters in on it, it's like fucking hell. It is a cool episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. A great way to start it off. With the rain coming in too, it's so heavy that you see the rain pouring off the tarps. And Tony Hawk says, "It's official, boys. It's now a shanty town, boys. It's a shanty town at Bam's house." I have no fucking clue what that means, but there you go.
Shantytown would be like a favela or something like that, where everything's held together with. It's like where poor people would live, that kind of like just piece their places together with tarps and duct tape and whatever they need to stay warm and dry.
Because Tony Hawk was born in the 1920s.
Yes,
clearly.
Yeah, you were mentioning before about how, like, clearly Ape and Phil know something was happening. Obviously they're gone for a reason. But imagine the anxiety coming back, like,
oh
not
my God,
knowing quite what it is, and seeing all these cars and then rolling up. Like, the whole drive back would have just been nerve wracking. Even though you know it's your kid, you just have no idea what you're in for. And I have a feeling this was the last thing in the world they could have expected.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think also the fact that they're coming back in like a 1970s limo that's leaking can't help with the anxiety. That's another part of it.
Yeah.
But when they do come back, Jay, do you want to walk us through their reactions? Because that's kind of a fun scene.
Yeah. Well, imagine, like you said, coming home to that. You're already a little stressed out, and now you see there's a tarp in the backyard. You hear loud music. You think, oh, they're having a party. That's your first impression. But as they get closer, they see the ramps everywhere. They see skaters. Ape says our neighbors are going to hate us. And yeah, they do. There's stories about that and the problems that just doing this show alone has caused for them. I believe there was a petition going around to evict them from the neighborhood for some time. But you come in, it's a party in full force. They're handing cotton candy to them as they arrive. Ape is basically just screaming at skate ramps and fireplaces. She says, "There's a fire," as if she forgot that their house has a fireplace in it. Yeah. And that's a completely normal thing around all of this other crazy shit going on.
Yeah. There's a fire in that one made no sense to me, because she's like, there's a fire inside. Yeah, no shit, Ape. It's in a fire. What are you talking about?
Fireplace where it's fucking supposed to be.
I love how Phil is the exact opposite reaction.
Yeah.
He's just laughing. He's just totally enjoying it.
And literally clapping for the skaters in there. Yeah, clapping as they go, which is so funny.
What a cool
Phil, you old cuck, you.
I think he's the opposite of a cock. I think he's like I think he can hold it down in the bedroom. Yeah, I don't think Ape's going anywhere on him.
Well, the destruction of his house, happy or not, like you said earlier, Chris, it comes to a point where they're just deciding to trash the house more. So it is nice to see them in on it. Phil punches some holes in the wall. Chris, tell me about Ape going ape shit here, so to speak, on the walls.
That was the funniest thing at the end, because like Phil's getting into it. You could tell she's so mad, and she realizes like it doesn't even matter at this point. So she wants to get out her frustration, and she gives it like a power kick where her foot almost gets stuck in. She almost bails as she's coming through. And then I realized for some reason what jumped out at me is she had that like typical like older middle-aged lady outfit, which is like a suit. Like, where's that shit? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That suburbanite, like, older lady that, like, lost her flair and just, like, fucking suit pants and a like,
power suit. She's going full on Hillary Clinton.
Stupid ass outfit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, fuck those outfits, man.
The pantsuits, baby.
Gross. I don't like that at all.
So you got to see a lady in a punch.
Like weird dry cleaned linen.
Now we're talking about the smell. But all in all, it looks like they're having fun. So. Yeah, that's good. It's a happy ending in a way.
I think so. And you mentioned, Chris, the Phil just kind of kicking and punching the wall. He does his famous like Elvis thing, but into the wall, which is just so great. It's so great. And even Ape gets in on the action. It's good to know, because I think they know, hey guys, this means that we get to redecorate our house, and MTV's going to pay for it. Like, fucking awesome.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be that, because otherwise the reaction would have been literally any other type of normal reaction. This feels a little uncanny, because you're like, why are they so happy about this? But it makes sense when you think about the money at play and everything.
Yeah.
I gotta ask before we wrap it up, because we're right at the end, and there's a lot of skating in this episode. It's the highlight of it, and this kind of looks like a skater's dream. Chris, have you ever had the opportunity to skate in anything crazy like this, or would you want to, or like what would this be from your perspective, being the only skater on the show? Like, what is this? Just break it down for me.
It looked so cool. Like, it looked like so much fun. You could have such a good day doing that. Although I was never like a vert skater. Like, so I was never really good into like that type of stuff, which
you're more of a Chad Muska type.
Exactly. Tony Hawk Pro Street Skater. I like to
Whoa. Pro Street Skater?
Yeah, I made my own game. I could do what I want. I make my own nicknames. I tell myself I'm cool. You know what I mean?
That's fair. I like it. I appreciate that.
But yeah, no, it just looked awesome. Like visually, you can imagine having such a fun day. It's just getting stoned with your buddies and just ripping around.
Yeah.
Like, it's like everybody's dream growing up, right? But
yeah,
I've never done anything remotely close to that.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking cool though, and what a concept. Something you can't really ever recapture, I think, and a good way to open Viva La Bam Season 1. But that brings us right to the end. We have the credits roll. We see a couple outtakes of them fucking with the van before it got crushed. They had a spike strip, which was cool. I thought only cops had access to that.
And then like a pit crew, cops and MTV. Those are the only two. Yeah. Those are only two. I do want to say one quick thing, because I noticed this and I forgot to say it, Chris, when you mentioned Tony Hawk Pro Street Skater. There's one guy does a trick on an indoor ramp and he lands in a way that you cannot land in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And I saw it. Like, he lands perpendicular to his trajectory on the ground, which is like, that's an immediate faceplant in Tony Hawk's. And I literally saw that and I was like, you can't do that. you can't land a skateboard that way. Meanwhile, he's a pro skater, so of course he's going to know how to do that.
Yep. Well, that is Viva La Bam, Season 1, Episode 1. Pretty quick, and like we said, the pace in these episodes, we're going to have to keep up because they run like... I know us talking about it stretches everything out, but like all of this is happening like rapid fire. I could barely keep notes watching this fucking show.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that's just going to be the pace going forward. And there's a lot of good stuff to come in Viva La Bam. Memories we've shared here, and I'm sure, I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait to see what they do next. So we'll be back next. We're going to do this on a rotation is what we're going to do. So you're not going to see Viva La Bam for another 2 weeks, but in between we're going to have episodes of Wildboyz. So we will be going back to the wilderness with our friends Pontius and Steve-O for Season 1, Episode 2 of Wildboyz next week. Look forward to that. Before we sign off, we compiled a huge load of questions of the week over the course of Jackass number 2. We are now going to start reading some answers. So, Mikey, I assume you're prepared and ready to
hell yeah, always,
walk us through.
So here's the thing is we're recording these a little bit before. Like we're ahead of time, so we're not quite caught up on episodes releasing and then receiving, not to peek too much behind the curtains, but we have started to get some responses. Obviously we have at Horse Eggs coming in with the typical answer of a picture of a horse with an egg is what he wants to get branded on his ass. They want to play dodgeball with a Fabergé horse egg. But the funniest answer that we've got to any of these questions, keeping in mind that question 4, which was you can choose 2 cast members to be a part of a stunt, who are they going to be? The funniest answer we've had is you can mix, and Jay, this is your question, 1 ingredient into the horse jizz that Chris Pontius shoots in the third portion of this episode of the Jackass 2 episode. What ingredient are you putting it in? And someone let me know, I didn't know this was a thing, but there's something called Ocean Blue Maple Syrup, and it's a Captain Crunch maple syrup that was branded. And it's you know what? If anything is going to completely kill the taste of horse jizz, it's probably all the sugar in Ocean Blue maple syrup brought to you by Captain Crunch. That would be the answer that I would highlight on this one.
Does that also cut up the roof of your mouth? Did they just put like...
yeah, there's little shards of glass in it too, because Captain Crunch, goddamn, good luck eating that without going to a hospital and getting stitches after.
Oh, blood and cum. That sounds like fun.
Blood and cum. That's the title of my autobiography, actually.
Jeez. That's what your empire was built on, blood and cum.
Yeah. And if you guys are okay with it, I've got one more question to pose, and we can just kind of keep collecting answers and reading them off as we go. What do you guys think about this for the question of the week? We saw Bam kind of retrofit a fire pole in his place. He also put a skate park in his place. You have all of MTV's money, wits, and wherewithal. What is it that you're installing in your house to make you the happiest little boy or girl?
That rotating bed from Austin Powers.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
I always pictured when I was a kid having water slides everywhere just to get around, just for traversal. I could just wear swim trunks all day. That'd be fucking
hell great. Yeah.
Kind of like in Blank Check. He had that water slide that went from his office all the way down to the pool.
Yes. Oh my God. I think I'd go traditional. I think I'd go with a full-on arcade. Like a full-on arcade. Like Silent Scope's got to be there. And Skee-Ball has to be there.
Fuck yeah, Silent Scope's got to be
Remember
there.
that skateboarding game? Skate.
And
It was like actually you're on the skateboard and you like pop it. Skater.
Yeah, and you're not talking Tony Hawk's Ride. Virtua Skater. Virtua Skater was a good one.
That was a sick game.
Hell yeah.
Wildboyz.
Played him back in the day.
That is it for Viva La Bam Season 1, Episode 1. Let us know what you thought at JackastPod on Instagram and Twitter, or answer that question of the week. What would you put in your house with all the money that MTV could provide? And with that, I'm going to say goodbye because I got nothing else to say about this. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for Wildboyz. Bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye. I'm Chris Aaronwood.
Bye. I'm Mikey Aaronworth, and this has been Jackast.
Productions. Get into it!
This was a Press X for Sound audio production.